Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a surprise edition of our mapping show here. I have been this week messing around with the seasons mod a little bit this weekend. So, and thank you, Salius for the host. And X-Man 1971, welcome. I've been messing around with the seasons mod a little bit, and I wanted to do a little special because it's kind of really cool what I've figured out how to do. So I'm going to show you some of the things that basically give map makers extended functionality to the seasons mod, and I will show you how to do them as well, how I managed to pull some pretty interesting things off. Most people will, hey, JD Mods, good to see you. So, most people will get the Seasons mod, make a Seasons mask. I'm not going to cover that. That's very common for map makers to drop a Seasons mask in. But you will get issues like the grass still showing up at the tunnels and things like that throughout the map that just don't look quite right because the map hasn't been fully Seasons created. And Badzilla, welcome to the stream. I'm going to show you a few things that I've done, and I'll show you how to get these special effects. One of the things that I've been working on, just getting fixed up here, and we're over here at the sand and gravel pit, or the sand lake, and you will notice that we're in early winter. And early winter time, if the temperature is right, your ponds should freeze over. And actually, this stuff acts quite a bit like ice because there's no friction on it. And you could see that I added an ice layer to our lake that will appear in the summertime. And I'm going to do this on this map for all of the different things. Now here's that vehicle, findable vehicle that it's kind of, I didn't move it. So it's frozen. I could start the engine. I can't get it out of the pond because we didn't move it before the pond froze over. You see it's kind of stuck there. Uh, Jumping around. Oh, there, it popped out. Okay. But anyway, hey, we got it. We can drive around on the ice. So the ice effect that I got, I messed around with a few things. I'm going to show you how to get a pretty simple ice into your map. It looks cool. Let me take this F1 menu down. And that is just one of the several things you can do. Now, if you have ice, obviously you're not going to be able to dig down into the ponds, so it's going to add a level of realism once you get these. You'll only be able to scoop the sand that's above the ice during the winter. So, uh, adding ice to the seasons, you don't see that in a lot of maps. A lot of people just drop the seasons mask in, and I'm going to show you three different things that any map maker can do pretty easily to their maps and the extended functionality of it with the Seasons mod version 1.2. Number one is how to do your ice plane. Uh, Number two, we have over here this snowman. The snowman little object is actually done by TSL Modding. Merry Christmas from best wishes from TSL. I just brought this in as an example, but say we get some different models. This snowman appears only when there's 1 centimeter of snow on the ground. You can actually change the level of the snow for this to appear uh, based on level 1, 2, 3, and I think it goes by each level. Might be 6 centimeters or something. All right, Thomas. So second thing we're going to teach you how to do is to bring objects in based on if there's a certain snow level. That is one of those things that you can really, well, we can fix the tunnel over there so when there's snow on the ground, it won't look green in the background. And the other thing is you can make larger snow piles like heaps of just fake heaps or put snowballs. You could do Several things. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. I mean, the possibilities are going to be endless. That's what I really like about this. I mean, there's so many things we could do. This is based strictly on whether there's snow on the ground or not. The third thing is based on what season we're in. So if we fast forward out of winter, and it's gonna take a while probably for the snow to melt because I go use the super fast forward. We're in midwinter, and you'll notice when the snow melts, once we got to get to the spring. Right, midwinter, we're gonna go right through to spring. So 3 days of late winter. Thanks, JD. About fast I learn. I've been in and out a lot today. It's hard to put together shows on the weekends when I don't, but I'm here and I figured I was just working on the ice this afternoon and trying to get a cool looking ice, and I thought it came out really awesome and I'm so excited that I wanted to share it with you guys. I'd like to see it in more maps. So we got the snowman's lit up and everything. Um, we're gonna just go right through late winter, jump into early spring, and I have the third object is going to appear. It's a seasonal object. Um, Basically, to give you a preview before we bring it out, you wouldn't put plants outside in the grass in the middle of the winter. Bring them inside your houses or whatnot. But when springtime comes along, you might want to put some potted plants out or different things like that. Another use for this would be to just select the fall and maybe have pumpkin carts around the map or uh, corn mazes or who knows. There's so many different things you could do. But when the snow melts, the snowman will disappear. But when spring starts, we're going to put a flowering pot out on the ground. Spring is here, and hopefully, I didn't test this yet, but maybe it won't show up. We got to probably the fast forward thing because the snowman will disappear, the snow will get rid of it. And I'm guessing that, oh, I might have not even set it up right, but there is a third functionality, and we will get it working today. I just got so excited. I wanted to get the show started by 7:30 to make sure we get it all in. Let's wait till the snow melts. We're in early spring. Let's go to like day two. There, the snow is melting because our snowman disappeared. And one of the cool things about it is, if we come over here now, early spring, the ice is strictly based on the temperature of the air as well. So you could have ice without snow on the ground. You can have ice with snow on the ground. Um, the truck that I parked out there still thinks it's on ice, but as soon as I jump in it, it's going to fall through because yep, there it goes. See, the ice disappeared. We're back to water. Only ice comes by the temperature. So my flowering pot is not quite here yet. I'll have to take a look and see if I did that right later. I might have set it up. Let me just jump out and see how I set it up. I might not even have saved with my last update. Uh, Pot plant. And I'm just going to check and see if I got everything right set on it. But we're going to give you a pretty good rundown how to create some cool looking ice on your lakes. My TeamSpeak info, I don't have access to give you, Rod. You get it's Mumble we're using right now. I'll have to get a hold of Jeff because he usually adds the new people. He's in complete control of that, and yeah, I'll get it for you, but I don't have it right at the moment. Um, we'll get you in. Stop in to Mumble. So we're using Mumble right now. Why is this taking so long? Could be because I got a few things. Yeah, or you can whisper me, email me at albert@gmail.com. Garrett Aker, thank you there for the follow. All right, SS season it. Oh, that's why it didn't work. I didn't do the dot on create after the season admirer. But you can see I selected spring and summer. So next time we run this, dot ONCREATE, we should have a snowman appear. I mean, that flowering pot appear. So with that, it just kind of gives you some of the different things you can do. We're going to jump into, first thing we're going to work on is how to make yourself a lake that freezes over from what you have available right now. You have a water plane, you have everything you need in your current maps if you're working on a map to make that happen. So let's exit out of here and we'll work on freezing over one of the swamps. Now, before you get going, there's one major thing that you want to do. Um, there's a script that needs to be installed into the map. What this script does is makes it so if people do not want to run the seasons mod, the objects will be non-collisionable and invisible, so nobody will bump into like the ice that's there uh, if they're not running the mod. So this script is called seasonsfiller.lua. You can get it from me by typing in exclamation point filler, FILLER, and it will bring up that script. You can download it right from my Dropbox. That is number one. Number two, the whole guide for this, I linked to that as well, and that is available at exclamation point seasons, and it'll bring you up to seasons guide. So you can have something on your end when you start working on the map to just remember all these little commands after the show. So seasonsfiller.lua, just drop it into your map folder with your scripts. I have all mine in maps, scripts, and you'll see down here I got my seasons filler Lua file ready to go. Then you just go into your mod description file, which is right, whoop, it was there. Mod description right here. And you'll see, if I get it back up, the right one, that I put it in as my source file. Thank you, Zach1X, for the host. So I put it in as my source file in the map script seasonsfiller.lua. Just like any other script, you're going to register it in your mod description file. Once that's in there, anybody doesn't want to run seasons map mod with this map, your map, they won't have any of the objects. They won't even know the stuff exists. Could I add you to my Dropbox? I will. You know what I'll do, Thomas? I've got. I can't add you to just a normal Dropbox, but I think I will set up a Dropbox uh, link for people that where I put these different files in, and we'll keep you updated for the shows. But my Dropbox is pretty much strictly. It's got amongst our team, so we'll keep that in mind though for future. Let's see. We're gonna. All right. So once you have your script installed, make sure you save your mod description file. Jump into your map. I'm gonna go over because no sense of touching that one. Brew Crew 2769. Thank you for the follow. Thank you so much. All right. So you have all the tools basically available. If you have a water plane, we have one right here. I'm going to do it a little bit different than I did the other one, so we'll see how it looks. But let's go to the create, and we're going to create a primitive plane. I didn't use a primitive plane. I used an add strip in the last one, but let's make a plane for this one and see how it looks. The add strip is a white piece underneath with a little bit of texture, but I don't think the texture is really going to matter. So we created this plane, and I will, because I'm brand new to this, have to go up to my other one for referral at times to see what my setting has to be, and I'll just copy and paste it out. But this is the first one. we're going to create a ice on this little swamp. And I'm going to do this to all of the lakes, so when you guys that are running the Seasons mod get in here, it's going to freeze right over. All right, we'll bring our plane right over to the surface of our water. Left control B, click. Hopefully we'll get a little square box right here. And it's going to be white because all your primitives come in without any textures on them whatsoever, but it's also going to be really small. We're going to scale that thing up to the whole basic size of this lake. So let's start out by grabbing the X. And you can go over because the rest of it's going to be in the ground. So X is going to go up to 600. And then we'll scale the Z. Probably going to need to be 1,000-ish. Yep, we can even hit the pond over on this side as well. All right. So once we have that done, it's on the surface of the water. I am going to take that plane and just bring it down so we've got the water showing through. All right, that's going to give it the white look when we put the seasons, when we make it into ice. So just bring it below the surface of the water completely, like so. And you then can go and take that plane and make it a rigid body and take it and turn the visibility to off in your attributes section. Next, we got to put the attributes onto the user attributes onto the plane itself. So first one's going to be you got to create a field small O-N and then capital C small R-E-A-T-E on create and make it a script callback and click add and you'll get the little box here. What we need to do, this is where I got to remember which one it is. There's 3 different admirers, these are called, that you can use. And the first one we're using to create our ice. So I'm going to jump over to the add strip that I made on the other one. And I'll copy it and paste it in just so I make sure I get it right for the show. And you guys can type it in if you're going to work along here. It takes a little while, everything going on over here. We'll get caught up. Okay, so on create is basically lowercase ss, PT Negarev, thank you for the host, my friend. SS and then capital I C E capital PLANE dot on create. You're just gonna type that into your on create box on your new plane. So we'll jump down here. Anybody know Graceland Fox Scripts unexpected symbol? Yeah, you got a bad something got messed up in one of whatever file it's telling you it is. Animated objects XML is got a error in it. You're missing you deleted something or something is not right in there. So it's hard to say without looking at the script finding it. When I do that, I usually can find it. But the animated objects XML basically isn't formatted correctly if you're getting that error. All right, so SS Ice Plane on Create. That is part 1 with this here. Now, the second thing I do is I'm going to take the water plane itself. And this was how I decided I wanted to make my ice. We're going to click somewhere on the plane, make sure we have a water plane. We got the water plane mirror. I want the actual water plane, so it's going to probably be either the one above it or the one below it. We'll find out in a minute. Yeah, you got a symbol wrong. Basically, it's sometimes they can be anywhere, but if you get, it usually gives you the line number to find. You might be missing one of those caret marks in the beginning or the end, or actually, Do I want the mirror? I want the one that has. I think I want the. I have the water plane on create turned off on that plane already, which is odd because it wasn't. But either way, yeah, I used just the water plane and I turned it to ice plane. So yeah, that's the one I wanted to copy. We'll give it a whirl. It definitely is the water plane because we have to edit it a little bit. So grab your water plane. We're going to export this, and I'm going to just call it ice 2 because I already have ice 1. Technically, I could grab the same one from my other pond and just duplicate it, but for showing you guys, I'm going to do the whole process again so that everybody out there knows what to do. It's not too complicated, but there's a couple things we got to do to our water plane. So, File, Export Selection with Files. Get that water plane, and I'm going to make it, all right, we're going to do it Ice 3, we'll call it. And it's going right into my PV3 models, and I have a special seasons folder set up. And then we'll click Save. So when we import the ice plane again later, it will know where to find the files that it needs to use from the map. So I click Yes to get the parent directory structure. It's just going to make sure the files are there for me. Now, once that's exported, we got to do a little bit of interesting work to it. So let's grab the ICE3 i3D and edit it with Notepad. The only thing you need to do, you'll see on this material for the water, there is a bump speed scale. It's got 4 numbers, and then well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. That is the waves on the water. We don't want those. So we're going to just put in a series of 5 zeros instead. 2, 3, 4, 5. And save that. And that will take away our waves. Now if we go to import the water plane back in, and it will be right where the old one was. So it's making a copy, brought it in. It'll appear here in just a second. There we go. I'm going to rename it to an ice plane so I know what the heck it is. Like so. And again, we need to put that onCreate variable into the onCreate box. If it's not there, just make another script callback box like we did before. But we already have one here. So you got SS ice plane on create function. And the last thing you want to do is the translation. I just put it 1/10 higher than the water, so you won't see the water. So 80.1, my water was at 80. That is all you need to do to set up your ice. Ice is based on temperature. You don't need snow on the ground. Let's save that. We'll go in and see if everything's working out okay and if we have 2 frozen lakes now. Pretty quick once you get the hang of it. The second one we imported doesn't have the waves, so it just gives it a nice. Now, the only question I have is, oh, I got to do one more thing. Yes, we need to do one more thing because it kind of flip-flops the visibility on and off, we got to make sure that setting on the ice plane number 2 is the same as number 1. So we got to make sure we turn the visibility off and turn collision on. Once it's done saving here, we'll make sure we get that in there. Don't forget those steps like I almost did. So we'll give it a rigid body once it's frees up here. And I'm just curious what my the white is going to look like underneath this. It's going to look the same. If not, I'll bring over the other textured one, but I think it's going to be pretty close because it gets like milky color. Um, so we want to take the visibility off and turn the rigid body on. There we go. That will make it so it's ready to go for seasons, or even if you're not running the seasons, nobody will be crashing into it. Anything that has the SS plane on create and has its visibility set to 0, turned off, unchecked, will that's what we added that other script for. It will detect it and make sure that the collision is off as well when it's invisible. I did not add any more fill types to the map right now. Good morning, Bauer Tom Tom from Germany. Uh, he can't speak English. Everything's in Google Translate. There, I hope he can translate that. How do I get seasons to work on PV? We pretty much did an update. We added in the snow mask and stuff like that. Maybe we'll do a little snow mask tutorial at some point. But today we're not going to do that. Yeah, you drop the seasons mask if you got our latest version of the map and you just put the seasons mod in the folder, it will run. We have currently a second little the version of the seasons mod that we included in our downloads link was kind of made so you could do sugar beet and sugar cane at the same time, which previously we could not do. I edited it a little bit, but we're going to work on a more integrated thing in the map in the future. All right, we're saved. Let's jump into the game and see if that ice plane is working correctly, like the other one. PT Negareth,
You're the best. Keep
thank
it
you.
up.
Thank you so much for that donation, PT. Really appreciate it. So, test number 2, we should now have 2 ice planes if all works out well. Now, I'm just like any of you guys. It's very easy to miss one little checkbox and have a collisionable surface on a pond that's not there. But you just test it, go back in and figure it out. I think we got everything right. I almost missed those little turning the visibility off and putting the collision on, which would make things really funky because if you don't put it that way, then it'll be collisionable when it's not visible and everything gets kind of backwards. But trial and error. So we'll jump in, take a ride over. Should be winter. I don't think I saved the game. So we should be pretty good. Went over the animated object script. Yeah, it's got something going on in there. So yeah, the possibilities for this, it's pretty cool. We're just using the ice plane setting. That's basically a temperature setting. When it's cold out, this object will appear. So I'm sure you guys might be able to think of some other uses for setting something to be visible on the map when it's a certain temperature, and I might be able to figure out some cool things down the road and have it disappear. Icicles maybe along your little house edges and stuff, but that would be somebody would have to require 3D modeling experience. You could literally do the whole map over so uh, buildings have snow on their roofs if it's snowing and no snow on the roofs, but it you could literally do a ice sheet on the roads if you wanted to as well, Thomas. Yep, you could make a different road and take off the make it look a little bit different. I'm not that's a lot of involvement, might be a lot, but here we are back on our ice sheet above the ice. Let's go see if we have similar or at least close to the same effect over at the swamp over there. And if we do, we'll be good to go with that segment of this tutorial, and we'll move on to making objects disappear and reappear based on the level of snow. Now, Seasons mod, you'll get a little bit of lag when you first start up and when you're switching in between seasons, but it goes away. And also, I've got so many things running. I got the editor open, all this video stuff open. So you'll see a little bit more when I'm broadcasting, but the Seasons mod does take some memory to get going. So you can see we got our snow over here. We should have ice because the temperature is still cold enough down here on our swamp. And it should look very similar to what we just did. It maybe look a little bit bluer, but I think we got ice. Let me check it out. Yeah, so it's a little bit bluer than the other one. You can actually see through it. That's the difference because we didn't put a solid. We put the plane in there, but we can see through it a little bit. So I'm going to switch this over to the other one, and I'll show you how I did that. It's still acting like ice. We're driving across the lake on our piece of ice, but using an ad strip with a little bit of white texture on it is what I did for the other one instead of using the plane. And we'll show you what I made. If you want to really take the time, you can make a whole cracked ice looking thing and it'd be kind of cool. But I took a ad strip, a very small ad strip originally, and I'm going to duplicate it and bring it over because I like the look a little bit better on the other one, and I'll show you what I used. So the plane that we have here, I'm going to remove. That's the little white plane that we made. And I'm going to bring over this ad strip one that I made. I'm going to just duplicate it and put it over this pond. So we get a more solid effect on our ice here. And then we'll call that one finished. We'll jump into, we'll take a look when we go back in to see the difference. But you could see through the ice. Well, if you're happy and you want to see through the ice, that's normal too, but there was a little bit of snow underneath the ice down there. I am doing really well. You sold at Shell Diesel and got 2 pallets with diesel. Where can I sell this or bring? What can you do with the pallets? You can pull up a vehicle next to them and fill it. They have a fill trigger to load right from the pallets right now, or you can store them down in the warehouse. But that right now is their current functionality. You can't put those into the farms. I didn't set it up that way yet. Let's go down to our ad strip and duplicate that, and I'll bring it over to you and show you what it looks like. It's basically, to be honest with you, I stole one of the ad strips off of the Pepsi company, and I put a white ice-looking texture and blew it up to a mega huge size, and ended up with that ice effect. So I'm going to bring that over and we'll stretch it out and put it in place of that other plane. I think it looked a little bit better because it's a solid look. I couldn't see through the ice. Takes away some of that bluish tint that the water had. So we got a copy. Let's bring it over. And turn the visibility back on so we can see where we're putting it. We'll turn it off when we've got it in its final spot. But you can see it's just got a little bit of white ripples to this one here, like the other one did not have. It's huge. We just got to drop it down below our water plane so that our water shows through right close to the surface of it, and then turn our visibility back off. And I can actually show you the texture I used. I went online and I found a just a scrapey ice texture, but when I blew it up to this size, its scale is 9,000 by 700. It kind of made it kind of a little washed out. So it definitely looked better than the other one. We'll leave that in there. And next we will jump into object based on whether or not there is snow on the ground. And if you remember, I'm going to see if I can pull this off. I haven't tested. This is all new to me. I'm going to see if I can make this object, two objects, one for when there's snow and one for when there is no snow. So I'm highlighting the tunnel. We have to add the on create function script callback and click add. And let me go to my snowman so I know what the settings were for this one. We have 3 different settings. One of them is not necessary, but it's the level of snow on the ground. The other two are whether the snow is on or off, and then the onCreate function itself. So pretty basic. We'll pull this up here. All right, so we got snow checked, means if it's snow, it will turn. But if there's a level, which this is a float, you want to add a float box, just type in level and then go to float and then click add and you'll get a float box. Level 1 means 1, I think, is 6 centimeters of snow. If I put like 10, it wouldn't, unless it really piled up. And then the onCreate snow, SS Snow Admirer, capital S NOW, and capital ADMIRER dot onCreate. And that's what we're going to add up here on this one. So it's using our snow admirer. We're not going to worry about the level because anything happens, we want it to appear, but we're going to add the snow boolean and leave it unchecked. So when there's no snow, we get this green model. That's the plan anyhow. Now I am going to export this whole tunnel here in the end, export selection with files, and I'm going to put it right into my seasons folder, and we'll call it snow tunnel or whatever, so you know you can recognize it. And click save and keep the parent directory structure. We're going to come into our seasons folder and we'll see the snow tunnel. Let's open that up. Now I don't necessarily have a snow texture, but you know what? The cotton texture looks pretty snowy for now, so I'm going to give that a whirl. See, it'll be better looking than green. We already have the snow admirer on create for this. Let's go Control F and fly to my object tunnel. Where is it? It should be, do we have visibility? Where is my tunnel? It's around here somewhere. I can't, it's over there, way over there. All right, we don't want to mess with the coordinates of the object, but I spun around. I'm going to keep it right where it is in the map. See if I can get us close enough to see what I'm going to do here. So we need to highlight the snow tunnel. Let's take a look at our graphics. That's not the one. Let's go to the GTXM grass, load up the texture, and I am just going to jump in here. Actually, we should have the fill plane for snow possibly added into the map from the snow mod. Let me see where I put it. Salt, salt, da, 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 da. I can't remember. Let me search for it. It's not going to be in the fill planes. We have the season snow texture right in here, so nothing. No, no, maybe it's not called snow. Should have been there. Let's back up. Search through the whole thing. Nope. All right. Well, you can figure out where that is, but I'm not going to make the show real long. We're just going to grab, for now, a texture. We're going to grab the cotton diffuse texture because it's a lot snowier looking than uh, the green, just for example. But you can get a snow texture or use the one that they're using on the ground there. And we can change the underlying normal texture to... Oh, I'm in the wrong map with that last one. That's the problem. Let's do that again. I pulled that from the PVX XL. We got to make sure working on too many maps at one time could really spoil it. That wouldn't work if you guys got it because it'd be looking at my XXL map. PV3 fill planes. Is there snow in here? MNOPQR salt, salt, IJKL silt. Not in there. It's in here somewhere, but again, I'm just going to grab the cotton diffuse for now. Make sure I get the right one, and I'll just put in the, if I have it, PV3 fill planes, cotton normal. Looks a little bit like snow. On this one, we're going to have the snow checked because we want it to appear when there is snow on the ground. So I'm going to save it and exit out of there for now. Let's go back over to this tunnel. Before we do anything, we want to make sure that our visibility is on because, yeah, that's going to stay visible because it's That way you want it whatever it appears if they're not running the snow mod to be there. The other one, it'll still turn off if it snows, or if there's no snow, it'll be visible. But let's bring in the other tunnel from PV3 models, seasons, snow tunnel. Should appear right in the exact same spot unless I moved it by accident. Loading, and I must have moved. Oh, it could be underneath that. Where is it? Now, when I hit that stupid button, so we just got to reposition this thing. Let's bring it over to where we are. If you don't mess up the positioning, you'd be pretty good, but I did, so we're going to put it back over the top. When I hit that F to fly to it, apparently I pulled it to me instead of me going to it. It's just a matter of putting it back in the same exact spot as the other tunnel, which is, oh, it's way off in the distance. It's not centered on the, hello tunnel, do we have our visibility turned on? Yes. Where are you? Oh, you're way up there. Let's see what we got. We got to turn it. That, it has to be, I got the rotation all messed up on it. Rotate Y? Nope. Rotate Z? See where we put it. It's kind of hard to work with when you're way outside the map because it disappears just like it would if you were on a 16x map. You can't see textures and stuff. It should be, why the heck is my tunnel so far off my point when it's, let me try putting these to 0 and see where it ends up. Can't find it. It's right there. Man, you know, I might do this again. It'll be easier. That's why I didn't want to move it. Oh, you know what it is? It's not in the same group. If I put it back in the same group, it would have been fine. That's what I did. So if I cut this out, you can put it anywhere you want, but this will make it a lot easier. We just put it in the same transform group as the other one and then set the coordinates and everything exactly like it, and it'll be in there. Tunnels, tunnels. Come on, spin me around. And hopefully it will work. So we want to put it right into here with the other one. And it's set to, that one's set to 0, 0, 0, rotate X on 90, and it should be good. We're lagging. All right, paste it into that group. Bauer Tom Tom, thank you for the follow. Let's get this into position. And we should have 2 of them. So it's 0, 0, 0, X rotate 90. Z rotate 0, and my guess is that there, you see how it has snow on it? We moved it up a little bit. Yeah, it's just overlaid. So that one should turn on when there's snow because we have the snow checkbox, and the other one should be turned on when there's not snow because there's no snow. But first time, I'm not sure 100% if they're going to work buried into this tunnel transform group, so we'll save it up and see if that's what we're getting. We may have to cut them out and reposition them. There was a little bit of funky things going on if you're working inside a transform group, but it might work. If all works, we should have a snowy one when there's snow and a grassy one when there's grass. So we'll run that test. And you can do this with whenever you want it snows if you want something to appear like the snowman or you want to make some you could set it like a snow level to another cool idea. I mean, this gives you so much versatility with a map in seasons. You could set up roadblocks if the snow gets so high or an avalanche across a road type thing. If you get like set your snow real high, you have a really bad winter, you can make an avalanche appear that's impassable. You could do all sorts of things with if there's snow and how much, to your map. So pretty cool. But simple objects like this, we should be able to blend in with our surrounding so it doesn't look like it's sitting there out of place. And that's what's really going to make your map stand out, not just dropping your snow mod in there and doing your snow mask, but taking the extra time to redo certain pieces. You can also, well, I'm going to look into it. I didn't get into it, but changing textures, like making the grass look more dead or dry, brownish in the wintertime, things like that can also be done. So while I'm working on the map and other map, the big 16X that we've been broadcasting, every now and then I'm just going to keep coming back here until we got a little bit better version of the Pleasant Valley with the seasons stuff. And then we'll get it out to you once it's done. But let's check out and see if everything went according to plan. Uh, I think I did miss one thing, so we're gonna have an issue. I didn't re-click the visibility to off. Now it might be okay, but it won't be okay when they run it without the seasons mod. So we're gonna have to make sure that's definitely checked. We'll check it out. The second one, we want the visibility off when the map starts, so people without the seasons mod won't even know it's there. But seeing as we're already booting up, we'll take a quick look at it. See what we did. Power Tom Tom, thank you so much. Wish you a Merry Christmas as well. Waiting, waiting. Half the show is done waiting for me to load up a game or an editor. We need to have like the some waiting music. Da, da, da. No, not that. That's overused. That's just a slightly overused. Another note on scripts. We're adding those on create script callbacks for the snow. And I did check, and it did say so. But if the script is not available when it tries to run it, it does not throw errors. It just ignores it. So that's what makes this work. Let's see if we have ice, which is real. I just love the ice. It's pretty cool stuff. And a truck that's stuck in the ice currently, yeah, you can get it out, but the ice actually, because the water plane didn't have friction, yeah, you can slide around pretty good on the ice. It's pretty cool. Now I can't get off the. There we go. Get off the ice. We may have to do an edit, but I'm thinking no. So we have the snow one up there. Um, it's overlapping. It did a little bit of flashing. I think the other one might be. It's just my texture. We got to take a. That's right. Normals. We got to take the normal texture off of that, and we'll be okay. That's what's making it flash. But I'm gonna see if I can locate the other snow texture. But you get the idea. I'm gonna come over to this other swamp before I fast forward because I want to see if I'm getting the same ice effect that we created on the first lake over on the second one. And then we'll come back and see that thing switch when we get to when the snow disappears. Is there any way to get the crops to stop withering on the seasons mod? Uh, I don't know. I think you can have it. I think you need a wither state or a reset state at the end for the seasons mod, from what I gather so far. Might not wither, but you'd have it reset back to uh, harvested, one or the other. So we brought over the new plane for the ice. It's a little bluish over here, but it's solid now. You could still see through it. Where the heck did my... I must have something still set a little bit wrong on the one. Did I turn the visibility off after I put it in place? Probably not. That's probably what the deal is with that. But we're getting the ice effect. Not quite the water effect. Oh, let's go over to that hill. Make the snow disappear. I want to test that first. So trial, you'll get it down. It's just a little monkeying around. We're pretty close with both things. My plane over there is not visible like the other side. It's see-through. And this over here, our tunnel, just needs to have the normal mask pulled off and put a better snow texture on it, and we'll be good to go. That's why it's turning black. The normal mask. That's an issue with some of the normal masks. But I want to fast forward and see if it turns back to green. Back up. Well, didn't need to get that close. So we'll get through to spring and get snow off the ground. And once our snow melts down to zero, our if we're going to get a little bit more snow, we're in midwinter. Our mountain should go back to the green one and blend in with everything else around it. Late winter, 7, 8, 9. Game synchronizing after fast forward. Alright, it's spring. I'm going to jump into day 2 of spring here. There, snow is starting to melt. It'll catch up. I hate when that OK box gets stuck there. It'll catch up. The snow just has to go across the map and disappear. But you'll notice, yeah, I got to get those normal maps to get that thing back there. So when the snow goes away, your tunnel should turn back to its green state. No, I'm not going to make any adjustments to the factories. Actually, because that would require it to be changed for everybody. Since you only get one harvest per 12 days, you just have to plan your crop growing differently. Yeah, that things that would change for both seasons players and others, it's going to default to without seasons mod and the factories the way they're set up. But I think it'll work out well when you have all your fields. It's just going to you're going to have to stock up stuff. You can do some edits on yields and stuff if you want to, but um, as far as I'm going, you've got that. So our tunnel 2 needs to be turned to visibility off so it doesn't appear when it's snowing, and we need to take our grass normal texture off of it, and then it should stop flashing. And that snow texture, I'm trying to think where foliage, trying to think of where we put the snow texture. I can't remember, but it's obviously in the map. Uh, what we called it. Da-da-da-da. I'm surprised it's not uh, in here with the other textures because it is in a fill plane as well. Oh, you know what? It's probably in his own. Yeah, let's go over to our seasons mod. Da-da-da. It's probably pulling it from the seasons mod itself. See if we got it in here. Replacement textures, winter. That's tree branches, not in there. Uh, environment, snow diffuse. Let's grab that. Bring it into our fill planes folder on my map. So I know where it is. And now if we link this second tunnel to the snow diffuse, it should be a lot closer to the snow that's on there. Let me turn the visibility on real quick and raise it up just to check it out, see what it looks like. Yeah, that's going to be a lot closer to the other one. And I want to just go over here and check out, see what we did with my ice plane. Spinning, spinning. It says ice plane on create. We got the rigid body. Visibility's turned off. Let me see. I want to get the same effect that's on the other one. It could be the distance SS ice plane dot on create. Let me check the other ad strip and see what we have for settings height wise. just a little bit different than the other one. It could be the difference could very well be just the ground color underneath it. But that happens. The other one you can't quite, it's got a sandier bottom. This is much darker. But the solid plane underneath should definitely be hiding. So our Y is 79.825 on this one. That's its height. All the water is the same height on the map. So I'm going to make sure this other plane is exactly the same height as that one over there. Because it might just have to be a little different position. And then we'll jump into the third function of the seasons mod for the admirers, which is the seasonal one, and see if we can get that thing working. Uh, Translate Y. We're going to set it to the same way as the other one, so it's the same distance. And we'll take a look. It might still be a little off, but it should be. All right, maybe I had it just a little higher than there. There, it's. We should be okay. We'll give it a try and see. I'm just gonna check this ice plane too and change the height to match the one over there as well. I want to make sure that they're exactly the same to see if we can get the exact same effect. But yeah, you might have to work with the distances between the layers and things on your own map to get your desired look. I'm sure some advanced modders will be able to make change the color and stuff of the and make their water plane solid just by changing a few values, but I don't know how to do that. So this one is at 80.1. Yeah, we set the other one up. It should be at 80.1 as well. Advanced modder, dang, yeah. All right, yeah, so that's at 80.1. So they're the same. Let's just turn the visibility back off on this. Oh, wait, it already is off. So we should be good to go with that one. We'll check it out again. But let's go into our. We did the snowman demo. That's basically objects that appear. We just when there is snow on the ground. So the tunnel changes now when there's snow on the ground, and the snowman will appear when there's snow on the ground. The last thing is the seasonal objects, and this is going to be quite interesting. I haven't messed around with it too much because there's so many things I want to do with it. Uh, for instance, there is down at the store we can put Christmas trees. I'd love to bring in Christmas trees maybe in front of some of the houses for Christmas when it's winter time, or bring pumpkin carts out. We could even have. I'm gonna test some major functions, like see if I can have a factory appear only during a certain season. Maybe that sells Christmas trees. I don't know. I'm gonna do some of that stuff as well, but that's not gonna happen today. It's a very good possibility we can get that to work. But maybe we'll take it just for an example. Let's take this wheelbarrow right here, object, and I'm going to jump over to my cheat sheet because I needed to just check the class name. So we have a wheelbarrow highlighted. We're going to go in and make an onCreate, ONCREATE, and click make it a script callback, click add, and this one is your visibility per season will be called SS lowercase, capital SEASON, and then capital ADMIRER. So we have our onCreate SS season admirer. Then we're just going to create four fields called winter, and they're going to be booleans, and spring, all lowercase, and summer. And I might have messed this up on the other one because I think I named it fall because that's what I'm used to here. But it's AUTUMN, autumn. Add. Now we have those four fields. We want this wheelbarrow. We can have it out in the spring and summer, and we can even have it out in autumn, but we should probably put it away for the winter time, so we'll leave it off in the winter. And you could do that with just about any object that you want. Set it. We can also bring in objects that only appear in winter. We could put the snowman over here. So we'll remember that that is there. We're going to go in and test that functionality. Again, you could bring in Christmas trees for winter. We could bring in pumpkin carts. Maybe even open up a farmer's market and only have it there during the spring and summer months and then have it closed down for the winter. You could put like a different model for the farmer's market in the winter time, which shows it just like a vacant lot and then have it busy and appear. I mean, if you're a really cool advanced kind of modder, I'm sure it would be really cool in like fall to have people splines and have little people with Halloween costumes walking around. I mean, there's no telling what we could do, but I am just going to leave it with the simple stuff for this show. And we're going to check out everything one more time there with our wheelbarrow. We should have it here only in it should not be here in the winter, but it should be there for the other three seasons. So once we're saved up here, we'll jump back in. And give it one more go and see if anything else needs to be worked on. But I think, yeah, I might need to do a little bit of tweaking here and there. But this kind of gives you guys, I'm doing good, Chill Will. I am doing very good. I just got into a little bit earlier messing with the seasons admirers and having objects appear based on seasons and temperature and that sort of thing, and said, when I saw that ice plane that I created the first time, I said, I gotta do a show today, because that to me that was pretty freaking awesome, having ice on my legs. So we'll go back in and check everything out one more time, see if we're getting our desired results yet with the changes we made, and then we'll end the show with a couple of modifications I've done on. I'm redoing the lavender and the cotton to get them to work with the seasons a little bit more properly. The growth stages go kind of funky with the wrapping around. I'm not done yet. I still may get it to wrap around and regrow the next season, but right now I have it turned off and with new, uh, basically new models for the two crops. We'll show you the new ones, and at least it works properly. That's all I can say. You can cut it in the right seasons now, and still a work in progress. It doesn't regrow yet, but we'll see how it works. So we might in the next update there will be a little bit of change to those to get them to work a little bit better with the season. Yeah, exactly, KJB Farmer. In the fall, you might be able to uh, do a pumpkin patch. In the winter, you could also take that, that little decorative tree farm thing there. Maybe put it so it looks like there's Christmas tree sales going on. Um, there's just some pretty cool things. I love that. I think a lot of map makers, like I said, they drop in the snow mask, which is great. But going the extra mile and making some of these uh, additional changes to will help the overall feel for the season down the road when you if you decide to play the seasons mod. And that's what I want to do. I'm not gonna. I might go too crazy, but I'm not gonna. I'm still concentrating mostly on the 16x map, but sometimes we got to get away from that. And yeah, it's a good map for the average Joe. Thanks. So we're just gonna come over here. We're in early winter. My wheelbarrow's still there. Didn't we set it up? Oh, did I turn the visibility setting? I can't. Whoops. I didn't mean to black the screen out. It might have to catch up a little bit, but the wheelbarrow is supposed to be gone in the winter. Let's go over and check the others. We might have to do a little bit more work on our wheelbarrow. Uh, ice. Ice is looking good. This one, let's see if the other one matches any closer now than it did before. And the snow tunnel, it already blends in a lot better. Looks like it has snow on it. It's the same snow texture that we have for the snow. So we're not getting the flashing anymore because I took that normal map off of it. And I got to take the normal map off that tunnel too because that's flashing, the duplicate tunnel piece. But yeah, we're getting closer to looking like we'll get that black normal map off that tunnel. That's what's causing the flickering. But I'm thinking that that's a better representation of that. Absolutely. So pretty soon it'll be good to go. Bel Draco, how you doing? Let's check out our swamp and see how the snow looks. There might still a little bit funky over there last time. Doesn't look like the first one, but it should. So let's see if it's any better. We'll head down through. Now with the seasons mod, the snow is actually purposely removed from the roads so that because it interferes if you're trying to shovel off the roads. Can't get the map trigger sell your tree license. It's only available to buy at certain hours of the day. So check the time. Yeah, now it's much closer. A little bit of bluish tint, but I think it's just the way we are around here. But we definitely what the surroundings are. But it definitely looks more like a solid piece of ice now in here. And we could probably change the tint stuff if you wanted to mess around further. I'm not going to worry about it. I think we got a pretty good sheet of ice now on our swamp. Now I'm going to roll the clock around and watch this ice disappear and make sure that part is working okay. But some pretty cool. Pretty cool. You can see the dirt underneath the ice a little bit. That's pretty awesome. Let's roll it around and get the ice to go away. Make sure that it's going to be okay for everybody. Just got to get to our springtime temperatures. Hard to find answers? Are you going into our forums and asking questions there? Because usually people get answers really quick there. More snow. That's where you can go or come here. I'll try to answer questions as best I can, but has anybody been adding to the wiki on there? I might have to just go in and sometime add some more stuff to the wiki. But that's open for any user to try to add to or edit. And I'm going to try to get more of the common questions. We've answered some of them in there already. All right. So you can see I hit spring, temperatures are rise, and we'll get to daylight. We are back to water and we're swimming. So I'm sure the truck will sink now. And if all's good. So yeah, pond freeze over. That's pretty neat. And I'm going to go over to check that hill out, make sure it turned back to grass. It will once the snow disappears. No, you don't have to own it to finish building it. You can build it and then buy it. You actually have to buy it after you. So yeah, you could build any of the factories before you own them. You actually get paid to build them, so uh, do not need to own any of the factories when you start building them. Let's see, when you go, but you do want to, when you're building any of the factories, make sure you fill up three products and then dump the fourth product all in at the same time because it could end up not completing. If you don't get the fourth product fully loaded before it hits like 90%, then it will block you out of the triggers. That is one of the things that we have discussed in the past. Just want to make sure the whatever the final product is, you have it all dumped in at the same time. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? How that just disappeared back into the green. Yeah, working good. Now, last but not least, our wheelbarrow thing. Let's see what we did with that back at the home farm. And then we've got lots of those objects to do. I'm going to look for anybody knows of any or anybody comes across any really cool seasonal. Well, they don't even have to be really cool. I'll be the judge of that when we get them because right now we don't have any. But seasonal objects. If you see like somebody out there that has a Christmas tree model, uh, Christmas lights, or different things like that that might go seasonal models, uh, send me links through albert at gmail.com or link them down through whisper them to me here. It'll save me a lot of time. I'm going to be doing some searching, but I've did quite a bit today, and they're scarce. And I'd like to have seasonal objects for the four seasons, so we can put some different decor in depending on the season of the year. Spring objects would probably be more types of flowery things, maybe some Easter related stuff. You know, spring decor. And then summer, maybe like inflatable pools in people's backyards, or I don't know, barbecue grills we have. So those will come out in the spring and summer, and then we'll put them away for the winter. But that's the goal is to mix it up, and then we'll have some Christmassy stuff for the later seasons. And then as people are going through, it will look different each season. Before I jump in and check out that, oh, let's jump over here and see how I had that wheelbarrow set up. It might be set up wrong. Autumn, spring, and summer checked. SS. Oh, I did it again. Remember on create. You gotta have the. I'm just so not used to doing that. You want to have the on create dot on create after the admirer name. So we'll jump out, jump back in, and then our wheelbarrow should be working fine seasonally once we save it up. And then I'll show you guys the new textures for the cotton and the. It's currently in the process. Do I like the seasons mod? That is a good question because I'll tell you what, I love the functionality of it. I haven't played with the seasons mod to know if it's going to drive me nuts having different seasons. I kind of like the concept, but I'd have to play through a couple seasons and see how it works. But what I absolutely do love is the overall immersion value that you can bring into a map. I mean, as a map creator, I love the fact that I can now dynamically change the map as you're playing it, make it just it opens up endless possibilities that I want to try. Like I said, a farmer's market that's on this street corner during the spring and it moves over here during the who knows? I mean, there's so many different things that have possibilities. We can make geese fly south in the winter and then come back north. I have no idea. I'm just saying that having that added ability is gonna it has my mind racing with ideas to just make the map change throughout your gameplay as you're playing to and that's a pretty awesome thing alone by itself. Not to mention all the stuff I haven't figured out with this yet that the texture changes and different things. But yeah, so far I don't know how it's going to play, but it's going to look cool. I'm going to try it out. I haven't started a seasons game. I've been just testing and getting it ready for you guys, but I do love the fact that I can make it look different throughout the year. And we'll look into seeing what we can do with some of those functions. I mean, technically, I think I could hide whole factories. I could put different signs out, Merry Christmas out in front of a factory during the winter and then take it down. I mean, just amazing stuff. Why is my wheelbarrow still there? You're not supposed to be there. Did I save right? What did I do? Wheelbarrow. Season. Did I spell it right? SS capital SEASON capital ADMIRER dot on create. Should be on in spring, summer, and winter, or spring, summer, and autumn. And the visibility. That is probably what we need to have. We got to make sure the visibility is off for that. Let's try that one more time. Load it up again. Yeah, so there's a Christmas tree on in FS Mod Hub that's placeable. That's exactly what we can do. We can see if we can. Yeah, I'll check that out. Dark Farm Life. That's awesome. I can put some different ones at the different houses and be kind of cool. Christmas time comes in the game. We can start bringing in some. I mean, technically speaking, we could do all sorts of cool things. I'm pretty sure we could swap between splines. Maybe put snow. Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna do that, but it would be cool to put plows on the roads when it's wintertime. But It's seasonal when there's just snow on the ground. Bring a different spline in with plows on it. That would be so awesome. I can't do the plow models, but I think it could be done. Make the whole thing come alive. I mean, I just figured all this out in like a couple hours today. How do you earn those points? By everything you do, Beldraco. There's a whole list there. Hit the. Let me go in the game. Give you a quick rundown when we get back in there. And there's a list of different things. Every time you buy a field, it adds a point. If you buy a tree license, it adds points. If you buy animals, it adds points. Um, if you cut down trees without a license, it takes away points. So a whole bunch of different things will earn you those points. If you buy a factory, it earns you point. Uh, there's points for how many hectares you've harvested, I believe. The whole list is listed out. It tells you everything that you can earn points by doing. Yes, there is. I'm going to show you that too, Beldraco. Your right shift key and then the question mark key will bring it up. I believe that's it. Hold the right shift down and hit the key that's right next to it on the left, the question mark, and it'll be should pop up the list of everything. Now, the more objects we put in, the more the transitions between season you're just going to want to up, especially the big switches between spring to summer, summer to autumn, and autumn to winter. You're probably going to take some time to go through and switch everything over and get a lag spike, but it's only every 3 days at midnight. So just get up and grab a cup of coffee when it happens if it gets too annoying. Let's see. Please, no wheelbarrow this time. Yes, all right. It was a visibility setting. So our wheelbarrow is gone. Everything there looks pretty good. We've got snow on the ground, which can be uh, worked. Let's go to spring. And once spring hits, so yeah, we put our wheelbarrow away in the wintertime. But it'll be out for the other seasons. You could even just have it out in the spring and fall and put it away in the summertime. So you're clean up in the spring and raking your leaves in the fall. Wouldn't that be cool to put leaf rake out leaning up against the shed in the fall? That type of thing. Leaves on the ground. I don't know. Well, you could replace textures as well. I'm going to get into that tutorial hopefully down the road. Maybe replace some ground textures on the fly as well. You could go crazy with it. We'll see how crazy I get because it's like the secondary project. It's the 16x map is the main one. And to tell you the truth, uh, modland.net JT released the rivers map, and I was taking a look. He did a great job. I love the work he's done, but I think I can bring back a little bit more of the functionality that was in the last version if I really wanted to. But that's down the road. We might do a little bit of work on the rivers map to bring back some of the things. It looks pretty good. All right. So we're here early spring. My wheelbarrow didn't pop up. I have no idea why. We still got to work on the wheelbarrow thing. It should have been there because we had it come back in spring, but my snowman disappears and everything. Let's jump over for now. It might just be, oh yeah, my truck is still floating because the ice disappeared underneath it. There, get down. If you have something parked on the ice, you gotta wake it up later. So that's all good. Uh, I want to get some crops planted on this field. Check our season temperatures, make sure we're good. And this is kind of the schedule that I've been working on. So we do have a little bit different planting seasons now for cotton and lavender anytime in the spring, but we got to wait till the mid spring to plant cotton. So let's jump to mid spring and we'll plant them both. Oh, wait. Yeah, mid spring. We want it mid spring for both of them. JD, he was redoing it. He decided not to because all the drama he's been getting. He just wants to put that to rest. If you read his post over at Modland, he decided, you know, and it is rightfully so. I know what it's like. You try to do something nice, everybody goes all dramatic on you, and and it makes it a not very pleasant process. So he, I think, is getting out of the map making business altogether, from what he told me. So we're gonna just plant a couple rows of each just to get a look at this. It's still trying to catch up with the season switchover. That's why we're lagging a little bit. I've honestly can tell you, I love doing this, but it only takes one person to make your life miserable. And I've learned that it's going to happen. Regardless of what you do, somebody always wants to tear you down out there, you know? And I only answer to one person, and that's the good Lord up above. So if I'm good with him, I'm okay. And if I feel like I'm good with him, I'm okay. So, yeah, um, I'm just gonna go about doing what I do. And oh, yeah, the shift question mark. So you just hold your shift key down and hit the question mark. And there, you can't buy the factories. You still have to go up north to buy them, I think. But you can view them. But you do see the whole thing. Completed missions, completed contracts, purchased licenses, cows owned, pigs owned, sheep owned, threshed area hectares, owned objects, time played in hours, your coin deals. They all add to your point rating. Uh, Everything else, the illegally felled trees, if you buy, will subtract from them. And railroad penalties actually are not active, so you don't have to worry about that. So you can pull it up anywhere you are on the map. Let's go to, I'm going to let it spin around and we're going to switch it over to cotton and we'll get a couple rows of cotton planted. This is where I turn off my hired worker and just turn on cotton and let him go again. Yes, you can answer to your wife if you have one, but I do not, so I don't have to answer to her either. I used to, and apparently I didn't learn to answer to her very well because she decided to walk out on me. But that was then, this is now. Yeah, you gotta come. Everybody tells you not to. I've went over that a dozen times. I know when I release things, people do some pretty cool things. When I teach things to you guys, I'm astonished by some of the things you pull off, and um, it's should be a community of sharing. I mean, that's the way I look at it, and that's the way modding used to be. Now everybody wants to make $1 million doing it, which is never going to happen for anybody. But if you just be respectful and enjoy each other and help each other out and teach each other. There's a lot of people that won't do shows like this because they think that they're gonna teach somebody and that person's gonna be better than they are, and then they're not gonna be able to have a show anymore. Oh, if that happens, it is what it is. But at least y'all have even better content to play than I can create myself. So I'm good with that. I think it's pretty awesome seeing what you guys have done and the stories that people tell me and the number of people that have watched my shows and come back and said that they learned how to do map making from watching my videos and stuff is it's pretty cool. Maverick's map is awesome. I mean, even some of the guys Andre on our team has done in the past a really awesome map. He never released it because he never quite finished it. But yeah, seeing you know, seeing what people can do. I teach what I learn, and then hopefully you guys can figure out new things and teach me something, which happens very often. And it keeps getting better. So that's why I wanted to get on here with this season stuff. Maybe people will start implementing more seasonal changes into their maps, and it'll be really cool to see. And maybe some people will start developing more seasonal models for the maps that I will be able to eventually use down the road. That's what I think it's all about. So let's see what we got here. Let's shut off the tractor. Got a few rows of cotton with some new textures and a couple rows of lavender. The lavender I'm not so pleased with yet, but it works. So let's see what happens. We're gonna go to we'll go through mid spring and stop and let some growth stages come up uh, in late spring. There, we're in late spring. We should have growth stage. Yeah, there's enough equipment out here to definitely. You don't have one of those white wife things anymore either. I just caught that, Beldraco. So, did we get a texture change late spring yet? Come on, you were working before. Sometimes it takes a while. Oh, right. Maybe it's not going to do it in the late spring. Maybe I'm using the wrong. There it is. When you fast forward, it takes a while to pop in. So the cotton, the lavender will move up to early summer for the next change. Is there a screen you can look at that tells you when the factories are open, when you can buy a license? All right, good question. For those, you should be familiar with the slash key that brings up that menu. And if you go to the top of whatever factory is open, so say we wanted to go to the black cap birdseed and we highlight over here, it just highlight the top. It tells you production, productivity, regular maintenance, daily costs, working hours, it's day long, and if it's working. And ones that have hours set, such as the concrete plant, will say working hours are from 500 hours to 2300 hours, and that will tell you if it's open. Um, the tree licenses, I don't know if there's a place to tell where the. I don't, but it's like 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 p.m. or something like that. Somewhere around there. If you buy it in the daytime hours, usually you'll find the tree licenses, and they are bought right up in front of Cogent. I can pop over there in a little bit. So early summer, we've got a couple texture changes. They've already gone through. It's getting a little bigger. Let's move on to midsummer. It's so good. If you go back to, like I said, the preview videos for PV3 covered most of the questions you're asking. We went over them in detail. Just go back to the YouTube channel for the PV3 series and watch the few early shows after the make. Well, you can watch the map making shows, but if you watch, I do a special preview before the season starts to answer most people's questions, and that's the best place to get answers right now because we cover all of those common topics when we do that show. So my YouTube link is right down below, and I've actually organized the YouTube videos, most of them. Some of them still have to be moved into a category here or there, but most of them are organized into playlists, so they should work. So here we are, stage 3. Lavender is still whitish looking. Cotton is getting there. Midsummer, let's go to late summer. We are in late summer. Let me get to daylight and we'll see what it looks like once it comes through with the change. I did get gas to go in the quarry area, managed to get sand to pick up, and finally figured out the snowblower thing. We'll do gravel, yep. All right, so that is pretty close to what your new cotton texture looks like. It still looks similar to the other one, uh, and that one definitely looks different, and I want to keep working on it, but they're, I don't even know if it's harvestable yet. It's really close. Let's check. But they will work with the seasons mod correctly, the new ones. Uh, Growth, ready to harvest. Now we're still, where is it? Right there, dark green. We've got to go a little bit more, so it'll be going this season in early autumn. Just fill the last one to full all at the same time. You can make sure that it's best to kick the factory in and right from the beginning have it all have it fill up. So fill up three and then dump the whole fourth product all at once. That basically, if you don't have enough product in to complete the factory by the time it hits 90%, you might get locked out of it. It's just one of the bugs by using those buildings to cover up the triggers. And the best way to prevent that is to go and say you fill your. I filled up like the sand, the sand, the gravel, and the water all at the same time. Then you just make sure you have enough product. When you dump that last product, make sure you have it all and put it all in at the same time, and you won't run into any issues. Early autumn, we might have switched over to, yeah, so it's cuttable now, which is what we want. And the cotton looks pretty good. I like the cotton. I'm not so fond of yet, but I'm still working on it. I'm gonna mess with it. It looks okay. It works okay. We can grab up more money, more money. Give me more money. Forage harvester. And for you, Baldric, because you're just getting started on the map, here's one of the common things. You have all our mods installed. You are going to find a X-Disc lavender here that is for doing the lavender, but it also does the cotton. We really need to get it labeled so that it does cotton as well. Shows that it does cotton, but the cotton came after, and we just threw the ability to do it onto the same header. But people get confused because it's all that purple lavender color, and it does the cotton as well. LJ, how you doing? So I hope, all in all, that you guys learned a couple things about the Seasons mod and what we can do to make some made fun things happen with Seasons. I'm going to just mow down a little bit of this and show you the cotton when it gets harvested state, because it actually keeps the branches up there, which I thought was pretty cool. But right now it currently does not regrow at the end of the season. I'm still tinkering with these. I am doing great, LJ. Right now on the PV3 map, and as the show title says, we're working with some seasonal changes and just figuring out what we can do with the seasons mod to make the maps more dynamic. And I'm gonna harvest a little bit of this cotton, and I'm just gonna go through one more time, and we'll show you the changes that we did, and then we'll call it a show for the night. Uh, Impromptu seasons show. And then it's back to work on the 16X map on Monday. And I'll be tinkering with this every now and then until we get a seasons update for you guys. Is it true that it can cost several hundred thousand behind on the materials you collect? Uh, you have to purchase the steel factory, and after you're done building it, and that will cost you the grand old price of $300,000, but you make some money building it. Yeah, it's going to cost you a little bit if you want to operate it yourself. So figure it like this: when you're building it, you're a contractor. You build it, you get paid the gold. You can take the gold over to the bank, and you can get to about 90, 100 grand for building it. And then once it's built, you have the option to buy it if you want. So that is the way it works. let's see, N, and switch to my vehicle and hit O, and come over here, and you'll see with the cotton the way it works now, how the stems remain but the cotton balls come off, so that's pretty cool. Now I'd love to get it to grow back to cotton when we're done, but yeah, I'm liking it. All right, onward to the recap of what we did. We're going to roll through the seasons and show you guys some of the changes one more time. We'll let that guy go. That we made tonight, and if you watch back the video, we showed you how to do it all. So first thing is, it's going to get cold real soon, and our ponds will freeze over. We've got this one and the swamp ready to go. So that usually happens early to midwinter in the map with the new settings that I have been working on. I've set the temperatures pretty much to go along the temperature of where I'm from because there's a wide variance up here in the Northeast in New York. So uh, we can get a wide variety of temperatures. So once it actually sometimes freezes in the fall, but let's see when we get our lake to freeze over. Our We're in autumn still. And it is not connected to the snow, but it's connected to the temperature. So we should get, if I can stop it fast enough, our ice before, and if it all depends on the year, we might get ice before the first snowfall. It's still raining anyway. Mid-autumn, temperature's got to go down a little bit further, down to 0 Celsius, and then it should freeze over. We're at 1, 0. Let's see if it. I don't know if it goes to 0 or. Oh, yeah, look at. Nope. It's back up to 2. Let's go to early winter. I think we'll get definitely frozen by early winter. For not 100% sure what he had the temperature set for ice to appear, but oh, it's snowing already. We're at -7. Yeah, we're gonna get ice now. Let's let it catch up. See if we get the ice. It takes a while for everything to go through the whole map when you're fast forwarding and catch up. And we just went through a whole couple seasons. See, I'm moving around and I'm a little bit skippy because it's still drawing things in. Oh yeah, use the dev tools. There's the seasons, add snow. I like to just roll through and see when the stuff happens, then do it through the dev tools. But I want to see if it catches up. Might have to go a little further because it's not frozen yet. Well, it's gonna snow. Come on. There we go. That we know that the ice just kicked in. It's nighttime. We'll get to daytime. Snow is here. Lake's frozen over. And you can now actually literally go ice skating on your lake. Whee! So that's pretty cool. And if you don't have sand above the surface, you are going to be stuck until next season getting it out because we just flooded half of it. So that is the first thing we worked on and showed you. So if you want to see how to do that with your maps, just follow this video back to the beginning. The second thing we did was the tunnel. We changed it so the tunnel, yeah, I got a little bit of work on the flashing black texture up here, but that's just removing the normal map on my new model, and it'll be fine. But the green grass on the tunnel we replaced, so it now shows a snow model in the whenever it snows. Only when it snows will we see our snow covered tunnel here, which wasn't that way before. And we've got snow up on our hills, so that is working really well. Yeah, put a hole in the ice for ice fishing. uh, yeah, if somebody wants to get a water plane and cut around little circles in it and make it look like there's ice fishers, I'd put that plane in instead. That's a little bit beyond my grasp right now, but that's we could put ice fishers on there if we had the model. That'd be pretty cool. Set up a couple tents on the ice. Anything could happen. Another thing I did just for a demo was I brought the snowman in during the summer. So that's enough. Whenever it snows and there's one level of snow on the ground, which I think is 6 centimeters, this snowman is appearing. He's not going to stay there, but it was a test. We can put him on the roof of a building and just have him appear in the winter if we wanted to. But that was the other thing we showed you guys. And there's a potted plant that we have appear in spring, but let me jump over our crops in the wintertime. Kind of messed up, but I got to work on the winter season. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh yeah, back at that main farm. I can't even tell where I am with all the snow on the ground. We did that wheelbarrow that only appears in spring, summer, and fall, but disappears in the winter time. That sits right there. So the three things you could do that we went through tonight are objects, ice planes based on the temperature, and you can have other objects appear in your map based on temperature using the same thing. Uh, Objects that appear based on the amount of snow that's on the ground, so you can set the level of snow and you can actually put avalanches in your to block roads and stuff with that, fake avalanches like a rock thing going across, make it look just some ideas. So based on level of snow, and then you can put in objects based on season, which we have here. Once I get back to spring, our wheelbarrow will be put back out on the lawn for the next 3 seasons. So let's get there. 9 is late winter, and the wheelbarrow will probably appear before the snow is gone because it goes by season and not snow amount. And early spring, we'll let it catch up. We got a lot of snow that year. I mean, fast forwarding, I've got a foot of snow here. That's another thing I did. I messed a little bit with the precipitation amounts in the map as well from what you're using. So the snow can pile higher than if you have a bad winter. And that might interfere when you get to early spring with the snow melting before you can get uh, planting again. Because we got a pretty good coat of snow on the ground right now. Maybe when it catches up, we'll get our wheelbarrow to reappear. Let me go to the next season or mid-spring just to get some snow off the ground. Should help. Warm up the temperatures. Yeah, fast forwarding kind of messes with the stuff a little bit because it's not giving time for a snow melt to appear. Maybe this rain will help take it away. It's a fat Santa stuck in someone's chimney. Christmas in July. Well, it goes by there. The snow went away, so now it should be caught up once it's done synchronizing. Behind that little box, there should be a wheelbarrow appearing because it's in spring. No, it isn't there yet. Maybe it'll appear. It worked before, didn't it? Didn't we get the wheelbarrow? Oh no, maybe I didn't get the on create function in. Yeah, it'll work. Just remember to get it spelled correctly, but we get. I thought it came in last time. Fast forwarding, things tend to slow down a little bit. It might still appear. But anyhow, seasonal objects. I know the snowman disappeared, and over where we were, the one oh, it's dark out. Let's get to daylight. Can we get to daylight here? It's a little bit laggy. I'm hoping that thing reappears, but I might not have it set correctly in the save. But our potted plant example that we used early on was working and should be over here on the grass somewhere. Why is that stuck on? Vehicle group switcher, get off there. Didn't we have a potted plant come in near? Maybe it didn't. Thought we had our potted plant over here. Oh, it's tiring. Next to our snowman, but looks like I might have a little bit of work to do on that third one. We'll check it out and we'll let you know. But we did get the switch based on snow. For some reason, the seasons one is acting up a little bit. I might have something misspelled or something. But yeah, the tunnel turned back to green now that it's spring. The ice goes away. So hopefully that helps you guys out, and we'll keep working on it and see what we can figure out. And as we do, we'll bring it to you. Yeah, they were working, is what I thought. Uh, it could be just catching up with the fast forwarding. Usually that messes things up. Imagine if it was regular speed as we went through, or even the. But that's probably what's messing up my drawing in of the objects using that super fast forward because they were appearing. Super fast forward, you could see everything lags behind so much that it might get a little funky. The good news is that the way it's designed, if you're not going to run Seasons mod, you get it to look just like it does now. And if you do decide there's going to be some new functions built in to make it more immersive in the environment and some new surprises, I'm sure I'll come up with some cool things. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight, and I'm looking forward to icy ponds. But long way to go as we're getting this more season friendly. Got more tunnels to do. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased. Not bad for a day's worth of learning, you know? And it returns to. I can't wait to see what I can find. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. All right. So, with that, thanks everybody for watching this special edition of the show. And we will roll you some credits. And thank you for the donations and all of that fun stuff. I appreciate it very much. Everybody, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thanks, JD. Have a great one. Here come your stream credits.